From New York, it's the Formant G. Fossa Show, right here on www.world Public Radio in New York. And I thank you for being here. Today's program is very interesting. It is on the U.S. government's racketeering case against Big Tobacco. And we have a lot. It's from Source Watch, a project of the Center for Media and Democracy. And it reads as follows. By the way, you can get there to www.sourcewatch.org. www.sourcewatch.org. Enter in the U.S. government's racketeering case against Big Tobacco. On September 22nd, 1999, the United States Department of Justice, under the administration of then William J. Clinton, filed a racketeering lawsuit against the major cigarette manufacturers, two industry-affiliated organizations. The U.S. government sought $280 billion in penalties on the grounds that tobacco companies had conspired to deceive the public about the dangers of smoking. The defendants in the case were Philip Morris Companies, now Ultra, R.J. Reynolds Tobacco Company, now Reynolds American, Brown and Williamson Tobacco Corporation, now part of Reynolds American, Lolliard Tobacco Company, the Liggett Group, American Tobacco, British American Tobacco. The American Tobacco is now part of Reynolds American, by the way. The Council for Tobacco Research and the Tobacco Institute. And we continue with the article. Specifically, the Department of Justice, DOJ, alleged that the cigarette industry has purposely and fraudulently misled the public about the risks and dangers of cigarette smoking. The government alleged that the defendants have engaged in and executed and continue to engage in and execute a massive 50-year scheme to defraud the public, including consumers of cigarettes, in violation of RICO, taken from the DOJ Final Proposal Findings of Fact Exclusive Summary 1. Okay, and the list goes on here. DOJ's proposed findings of fact in the case allege that starting in 1953, the defendant tobacco companies met and engaged in a conspiracy to launch a public relations campaign to counteract the growing body of scientific evidence that showed cigarettes were harmful, while at the same time the defendants' own internal scientific research confirmed the findings that cigarettes cause disease, death, and addiction. The object of this campaign was to maximize the number of smokers and profits and to avoid adverse liability judgments and adverse publicity. Part of the government's case were dismissed. The government originally sought reimbursement for tobacco-related disease medical expenses paid as required by Medicare. According to the Medicare Recovery Act, 42 U.S.C. 2651-53, and Medicare Secondary Payer Act, 42 U.S.C. 1395. The judge dismissed these claims, ruling that the statutes did not permit any type of recovery sought by the government. Because the DOJ sought only equitable relief, and because such relief is only granted by a judge, the case was not heard by a jury, but single federal judge, Gladys Kessler of U.S. District Courts. Now, the thought of the plot, will thicken as we go on here. Okay, we continue on. Let's look at the conviction here on World Public Radio. By the way, Formant G. Fossa here in New York. www.worldpublicradio.org. If you're not at our website, there's lots of programming that I've done in streaming radio, web-based radio for the world, web-based. And there are some other videos that we've done. We've got an artificial intelligence page, a transportation page, reference desk, a site for gays, and it's about your founder for gay rights. Lots of good things. And let's get back to this article. Because the DOJ sought only equitable relief, and because such relief is only granted by a judge, the case was not heard by a jury, but a single federal judge, Gladys Kessler of the U.S. District Court. The article continues, conviction. After 6 years of litigation, 9 months of trial, hundreds of depositions, and thousands of exhibits, on August 17, 2006, U.S. District Court Judge Gladys Kessler ruled that the government had proven its case and found that the tobacco company's defendants have violated Racketeer Influence Corruption Organization Act, or RICO. Okay, now this next part of the article from sourcewatch.org is very interesting. The final findings. Based on the evidence presented in the case, Judge Kessler ruled that the defendants knew for 50 years or more that smoking caused disease, but repeatedly denied that smoking caused adverse health effects. Defendants publicly distorted and minimized the hazards of smoking for decades. Defendants concealed and suppressed research data and other evidence showing nicotine is addictive, and withheld information about their internal research on addiction from the American public, the government, and the public health community, including the United States Surgeon General. The defendants acted this way to maintain profits, right, by keeping people smoking and attracting new consumers to avoid liability and prevent regulation of the industry. Defendants falsely denied that they can and do control the level of nicotine delivered to smokers to create and sustain addiction. Defendants falsely marketed and promoted low-tar /light cigarettes as less than harmful than full-flavored cigarettes to keep people smoking and sustain corporate revenues. From the 1950s to the present, different tobacco companies using different methods have intentionally marketed cigarettes to young people under the age of 21 in order to recruit, quote, replacement smokers, unquote, who would ensure the future economic viability of the tobacco industry. Defendants publicly denied, while internally acknowledging, that secondhand tobacco smoke is hazardous to non-smokers. At various times, defendants attempted to and did suppress and conceal scientific research and destroy documents relative to their public and litigation position. Okay, that information comes from SourceWatch, www.sourcewatch.org. Okay, now that the article is over, let me share some of my own thoughts about this. And we have to be quick because we are running out of time. Thank you for logging into our website at www.worldpublicradio.org, by the way. I am in favor of limiting legal access to tobacco products. It is a powerful, even mind-altering drug that has at least 30 cancer-causing chemicals. I am for the FDA regulation of the industry. I am against pharmacies such as Long's, CVS, Duane Reade, Kmart, and others selling dangerous tobacco products and claiming to serve your better health. It is a kick in the face to your intelligence. Pharmacies should sell only health care products, not products that have an adverse effect on your health. Any tobacco enablers should be held liable for subsequent ill health effects caused by their products. As it stands, tobacco profits handsomely and leaves society, for the most part, responsible for the medication and care of people made gravely ill from a known deadly product. Stand up if you see products, especially in a pharmacy, protest it or even boycott these greedy chains that have no right selling dangerous products. I am against all forms of tobacco advertising, and those are some of my views. Please write me at Studio1, the word studio, the word 1, at worldpublicradio.org. And if you're at YouTube watching this video, please post a comment. Thanks a lot. From New York, Formant G. Faso. Over and